Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and we're about to crack into my Asian television series collection. One thing I want to point out right off the bat is that there's kind of a reason why this collection is a bit on the small side. There's a ton of resources available to you for watching Korean dramas online. You have Viki.com, you got DramaFever.com, you got Hulu has them, YouTube. I think some of them you can even rent on Netflix or stream on Amazon. I haven't really checked those lately, but I've been kind of falling behind on my K-drama and J-drama viewings ever since I started this YouTube channel. The time for those has shrunk. But a lot of these that I have in my collection I haven't seen in years. So I'm going to have to consult my notes a little bit. But that's the general reason why this collection is on the small side. Because you can easily watch them online legally. But we begin with what is possibly the best television series I've ever seen from any country. And that is, of course, Jumong. Yes, Jumong. So this is a magnificent TV series that's 81 episodes, about an hour long for each episode. It takes place around 50 BC, that's a long time ago, and surrounds the conflicts between the kingdom of Puyo and the Han. So you have Il-guk Song is the lead actor here. He's outstanding in this. This show, in and of itself, made me a fan of him. He doesn't show up in many things outside of television, but this is the one that made me a fan of his. And it's got Hee Jin Han, which I'll show you a picture of in a minute. So, this is almost like... I don't know if I should make this comparison. It's basically kind of like Game of Thrones, with a much lower budget and it's like got a lighter tone to it. It doesn't have any graphic violence or sex or anything. So this is basically, you have our lead character here who's one of three princes, okay? And he starts off like kind of a klutz. And basically you have a competition between these three princes as to who... At first, the competition's kind of cosmetic, because you have the crown prince, and then you have the other two younger brothers. But it becomes kind of a competition. They go out, and they perform various, activities and things like that, and, report back to the king to see who kind of wins, so to speak, the particular obstacle or whatnot. So, what's an example? Let me give you a few examples here. You have stuff like... finding a sufficient salt supply, which sounds completely boring, but it isn't in this series. It's fantastic. Because you got to remember, this is a kingdom that was, trading with the Han, and they're basically, under the foot of the Han. They're not really a sovereign nation. You know what I mean? They rely on the Han way too much, and salt is something that they rely on. Because they don't have enough salt to preserve their food for the winter. So they got to import the salt from the Han Empire. And so if the Han needs something from them, all they got to do is pull those salt exports back, and these guys start suffering, and they have no choice but to do whatever the Han tells them to do. So that's a serious, obstacle to sovereignty of a nation. So you have, that's one example. And these guys have to go out and say, how are you going to solve this problem? You know what I mean? And you have... a lot of other things too, like the production of weaponry. That's also important for to obtain sovereignty and being your own independent nation. The Han has far superior technology in terms of weaponry. How are you going to close that gap? You know what I mean? Etc., etc. There's trade routes and stuff like that. Sounds completely boring, but it's phenomenal in this movie. You have some great actors. You have my girl here as the lead. You have different classes as part of this kingdom. And this is why I compare it to Game of Thrones, because you have a huge variety of characters. And this is 81 hours long. Everyone's developed. Everyone in this show. So you have these, you have the merchant class. You have like a protagonist and an antagonist merchant. You have like the sorceress class, or the fortune teller class. You have protagonists and antagonists there. You have different sects of the army or whatever. The battle. You have like a subsect of that who's loyal to this prince. You have the main army that's loyal to this prince. So when something happens in this kingdom, in every episode something happens, it shows you how it affects each of these different classes. So this show is just unbelievable. And if the 81 episode length intimidates you, don't let it intimidate you, because I was almost not even going to bother to watch this, because I'm like, what are the chances I'm going to watch 81 hours long of a show? And after I saw the first volume, I made sure I watched the rest. So I highly recommend it. When I rewatch it again, which will be probably next year. Probably next year I'm going to sit down and rewatch this bad boy. I'll put a review up on my channel. But again, production values are a bit on the low side. You know what I mean? This came out in 2006 in South Korea. But still, the production values are good enough. The fights are actually quite good. Some of the fights that go down, watch it. You won't regret it. All right, the next one, which is a close second, is my favorite TV show. Well, it's close up there. Daejang Gum, also known as a jewel in the palace. Now, this actress, if she looks familiar, she's Young-ae Lee, who was in Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. And this was set during the era of the Joseon dynasty. This girl attempts to bring her parents' killers to justice by, get this, ascending the ranks of the palace kitchen and destroying their black market. So this is 54 episodes long, about an hour long each. Again, pretty long. I'm covering the longest ones first, actually. Most K-dramas that I've seen range from like 16 to 24 episodes. But the two best ones that I've seen are really long. Maybe I should watch longer ones. I don't know. So the thing that makes this so unique is that you're focusing so much on food preparation to build suspense. So you have this lady trying to make her way up the ladder of the royal kitchen, because if she gains power, she can take out her parents' killers, who are like this corrupt class of basically food merchants. You know what I mean? And this girl tries to take them down through legitimate means. She has a almost like a sense of honor about her, where she doesn't want to stoop to their level and just kill them or something. She wants to take them down legitimately and make them suffer. So, there's a lot of food, especially during the first half of the show, a lot of food competitions to work your way up the palace kitchen. So this girl has like she's like a genius, and you have to be. You think food preparation, you just got to be a good cook. No. So you have to know all the different herbs that are out there, all the different food ingredients. You have to know that when you blend them together, what effects they'll have. What type of allergies does the king have? How does his body react to certain ingredients and combinations of ingredients, etc., etc. In addition to just the food cooking, which is ridiculously complex as it is. So that's why I really like this show. The lead actress is phenomenal. And of course, I love stuff that's based on food. So the fact that they're able to build stunning suspense sequences and excitement around food preparation is what puts this high on my list. So yes, this is fantastic. During the later episodes, it shifts a little bit more towards medical, almost like medicine. And as you can see here, she changes her outfit. She kind of transitions to the medicine type department of the royal palace. So Daejang Gum, A Jewel in the Palace, highly recommended. Again, these are long series, but if you start them, you're going to want to finish them. And you need to give them maybe 3 or 4 episodes to ramp up. Spent way too much time on those. My Fair Lady. This is one of Yoon Hee-yoon's underrated shows. She has a few of them. So Yoon Hee-yoon is the girl in the middle there. Let me fire up my notes. So this is a romantic comedy TV series that's 16 episodes long, an hour each. So a middle-class man is hired as a butler for a rich heiress to a huge company. Playful bickering and romance ensues. So this has, this is just a high-class romantic comedy. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean? It's briskly paced, highly entertaining. It's got some, rom-com cliches in there, but I don't care. The lead actress, she's fantastic in K-dramas. I really like her a lot, especially in like lighter-hearted stuff. She was in a few really serious ones that I thought were good, but not as entertaining as her rom-coms. I think this and The Man from the Vineyard are her two best K-dramas, and these are the two that either get mixed reviews or are not well known. So I recommend My Fair Lady if you're in the mood for a rom-com, K-drama. Ooh, here's one that's interesting. How many times have other countries done remakes and they failed miserably? Happens a lot. There was a South Korean movie from 2001 named My Sassy Girl. The Americans tried to remake it, and they failed miserably. The movie was not good. Elijah Cuthbert was a big problem. I don't think she did a good job carrying that one. Well, the Japanese remade My Sassy Girl into a oh, shoot. Why is this in my Korean? Oh, well. It's in the same box. This is the Japanese one. So we're cheating. I'm not going to edit it out. No. My Sassy Girl, the Japanese J-drama. You got Reina Tanaka in the lead role. Fantastic casting. She's great in high-energy, quirky roles. So this one is actually very good. Unbelievably it is. It's different enough from the Korean movie to distinguish itself. This relationship is far rockier. They bicker a lot more. They're on the rocks a lot, this couple. You know what I mean? Some people might not like that aspect. I liked it. If you've seen My Sassy Girl, you should watch the Korean film first. And then, if you want some additional stuff, move on to this. Because this almost assumes that you've seen the movie. Because, again, it will move towards a direction that the Korean movie did and then throw a curveball at you. You know what I mean? So, it's very different from the Korean film. It's a bit more abrasive. It's a little bit more abrasive, but it's something worth checking out. I actually really enjoyed it, and I was skeptical when I watched it. So, recommended. Oh, I think I screwed up here. There we go. Next one. Oh, Nodame. Hold on, let me get this title right. Nodame Cantabile, also known as Concerto Love. 2006. Crap, Japanese again. Well, oh well. I guess they're mixed up a little bit in this box. You got Juri Ueno from Swing Girls is the lead actress, and she makes this show. This show is really goofy, but it's quite fun. An aspiring orchestra conductor and a talented piano player find success in love. 11 episodes, 45 minutes each. Very light-hearted stuff. It gets cheesy. This show gets really freaking cheesy. This is season 1, I think. But it's very entertaining, I thought. Juri Ueno is a big plus. And you got my boy, Naoto Takanaka, I believe his name is, from, he was a teacher from Swing Girls, and he stars as Milch, a wise European composer who likes chasing skirts more than anything else. And here's Milch over here. Yeah, so you got a Japanese guy playing a European, this guy, and they do it on purpose. So he's fantastic. Every time he shows up, I crack up. This show's, again, very cheesy, but I found it to be very entertaining. Some of the performances, like concert performances and some of the piano performances, are really unique in how they play out. So, recommended. Do I have any more Japanese in here that I don't think I do. I'm so organized, right? This is just flying off the rails. I Am Sorry, I Love You. It's a more serious a little bit more serious K-drama here. So this one, the whole reason I watched this is because it's got my girl in it, Soo Young Lim from A Tale of Two Sisters. And, after I watched A Tale of Two Sisters, I obviously tried to watch everything else she was in, and this is something she was in. So I watched it. Very good show. More serious romance drama from 2004. So after suffering a gunshot to the head, a terminally ill man seeks out and finds the mother who abandoned him as a baby. 16 episodes, 16 minutes each. The beginning, it starts off kind of shaky, but after the first few episodes, it's really good stuff. The main actor here is gritty and tough around the edges, so it's you do connect with him though as it progresses. Man, I have a lot of notes on this one, but this is a really good movie, or a really good K-drama, and it'll pull at your heartstrings a little bit. This is good stuff. Again, if you're a fan of the actress from A Tale of Two Sisters, I recommend this. Next one here, you have one that was a blind buy that wasn't as good as a lot of the other ones that I have, and that is Someday. And the whole reason I blind bought it is because it's got Nodame in it. So I'll watch just about anything with Nodame in it. But let's see what I thought of this one here. Someday. This is a romance drama from 2006. Oh, by the way, Jumong was from 2006 and Daejang Gum was 2003. My Fair Lady, I think, might have been 2009 or something like that. So again, romance drama here. 16 episodes, an hour each. There's a love square between four main characters: a comic book writer, played by Nodame, who is cynical about love, a private investigator, who's dealing with a tragic event in his past, a doctor, and a businesswoman. So this is a little bit, it starts off strong, and then it kind of has some hiccups in the middle, and then it ends strong. Good show. I enjoyed it. Probably should have watched it online first. I don't know. I think there was a reason I blind bought it. I kind of had to. But it's good, though. I liked it. Here's one with our boy, Byung-hun Lee. You know Byung-hun Lee. A Bittersweet Life. The Good, the Bad, the Weird. And this is All In. Another blind buy. Again, a good show. Maybe not quite as good as some of the other ones that I have here. Better than Someday, though. This is 2003. This is I wouldn't say it's old, but it's older from my collection. A Korean drama romance. 24 episodes, hour each. It's about an ex-con played by Byung-hun Lee who excels at gambling and courts his childhood sweetheart played by Hee-kyo Song, who's also a very good actress. The characters are developed, conflicts are strong. Protagonist is forced into a difficult position, giving his ties to the underworld. I do think it drags on a bit. I thought 24 episodes was a bit too long for this one. It's something you'll see sometimes in K-dramas, where a show really should be 16 episodes, but they drag it out because it's so popular. It happens. This is still good. Don't expect too much gambling in it. It kind of builds up to this like world gambling competition. It only shows like 10 minutes of it, as part of the. So don't expect too much actual gambling scenes, but it's a good show. Characters are pretty good, and if you like Byung-hun Lee, check it out. All In. You see on the side there, you got the poker cards or whatever in there. This video might be a little longer. I'm trying to get through all of my K-dramas. Coffee Prince. Hugely popular K-drama. Huge. Very good show. You have, let me check out I really need to watch this one. I haven't seen this one in so long. It's got Yoon Hee-yoon, of course, again. I gotta watch everything with Yoon Hee-yoon. Alright, so 2007 romantic comedy. A girl poses as a guy So Yoon Hee-yoon poses as a guy in order to get a job at a local coffee shop. 17 hours long. So you have the manager kind of suppresses his love for her because she thinks that she's a guy, but they hit it off. So you have kind of like a unique dynamic there. You know what I mean? And then you have another guy who's it's kind of a love square again. A lot of K-dramas have love squares instead of love triangles for some reason. They always have like the fourth wheel. Now you have Yoon Hee-yoon, but you also have Gong Yoo from Train to Busan. And then you have Sun Kyung Lee, who's been in a bunch of good stuff. So this has a really good cast to it. Although I did feel that the guys in this, when I saw it years ago, were a little on the creepy side. I don't know. I found them a little on the creepy side. A lot of sloppy eating in this, too. So definitely check out Coffee Prince. It's highly acclaimed. Now, you're probably wondering why I have so many Yoon Hee-yoon K-dramas. And that's because the first K-drama I ever saw, she carried on her shoulders. And that is Palace, also known as Princess Hours. I blind bought this because it was just time to watch a K-drama. You know, I was watching so many South Korean movies, I gotta watch a K-drama, you know, because I heard about them so much. And I picked this one because it was really popular. I don't think it lived up to its reputation, but the whole reason why I enjoyed it was because Yoon Hee-yoon just carries the show. Carries the show. So I think this one is about like a common girl who's chosen to marry into the royal family of South Korea, which doesn't exist nowadays. But this television show assumes that it did exist. So that's kind of an interesting premise. And you have some interesting stuff going on, but excuse me, there's there's a lot of scenes involving like the elders of the freaking palace. Every scene with the elders is dull as freaking dirt, and they cover them way too much. So the younger characters are far more interesting, and their relationships and conflicts are far more interesting. So, and I just remember Yoon Hee-yoon just stood out in this. I'm like, man, every second she was on screen, I was hooked. Whenever she wasn't on screen, I was hurting. So I'm like, I gotta watch everything else with this girl. So, yeah, this is a pretty good show. Not something I would recommend immediately, or like as your high priority. But if you watch some of Yoon Hee-yoon's other stuff, and if you love her, check out this one. It was popular, and it was pretty good. Alright, got a few left in the Korean list here. Next video, we'll get to the Chinese and Japanese. You have 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. You got Sue A from Midnight FM is in this, and I think that's one of the reasons why I got this. I loved her so much in Midnight FM, I was willing to take a chance on a K-drama with her in it. She's great in this. It's kind of a play on words here. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning, you're late in the baseball game. And she's, getting close to 30 and she's not married yet, which, some people think is a problem. So she finds herself being more pressured to have a serious relationship. And this is like a romantic comedy that plays on that. You got some good stuff here. She's fantastic in it. I think a few of the supporting characters were a little irritating. But this is actually very good and much better than you might think. One thing I remembered. There's a cliche in K-dramas, and I'm going to do a video on this at some point. The cliches of K-dramas that irritate or that are good and bad. One that I always hate is the one where one character loves another character but refuses to tell them. It's like, dude, just freaking tell them what you think. You don't have the problem here. If I remember correctly, let me check my notes before I say this. Hold on. Yes, the 2 lead protagonists straddle friendship and romantic love in a very honest way because they communicate their feelings to each other very well. So, when they feel something, they tell each other. Thank you. Thank you. So this is good. You have The Legend of the King and the 4 Gods from 2007. I think the lead actress in this one is Ji-ah Lee. Who is this here? Yes, Ji-ah Lee, and she's the reason to see this. Again, a series that wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. It's kind of got like an old school. Let me get the synopsis for you. It summarizes the legend blending romance, action, and fantasy elements, and then forwards in time 2,000 years, a little bit closer to the present day, but not quite. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's got some pretty good action to it. There's some really cool individual moments in this. I just found the story to be a little dodgy. But Ji Ali is just phenomenal in this, the lead actress. That's her up here. Lead actor I thought was a little weak. I didn't think he did that great of it. He's okay, but... So this show's alright. And finally... Look at how thick this freaking box set is. This is 8 DVDs or something? Let's see. 10. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 DVDs. This is The Sea God. Alright, so the Emperor of the Sea, also known as The Sea God, from 2004. A lot of people don't know about this one because it's a little bit older. It's a drama with a little action. It's set during the unified Shilla dynasty in the 7th century. Kind of interesting how a lot of these K-dramas they cover a lot of different time periods. It's about a slave who is given freedom and subsequently works his way up the merchant ranks to establish international trade using a geographically important sea route. Again, sounds completely boring, but this is actually a very interesting series. I actually find the merchant business of ancient Korea, or older Korea, to be even more interesting than like the samurai themed stuff from Japan. There's something about like the business, you know what I mean? And I have in my notes here exactly what I'm talking about. You have specific detailed strategies with regards to economics, management, basic necessities like salt and grains, security, the structural integrity of transport ships, passage rights, foreign goods, training and development, geography, and it's fun to see all these elements and how they affect a merchant's business, you know what I mean? And of course we have some deadly conflicts as well. Again, main reason I saw this is because it's got the lead actor of Jumong is in this. And this show is very good. I enjoyed it a lot. One thing though, the ending to this show a lot of people don't like. I'm mixed on it. I won't spoil it for you, but this show has got some balls. It's got some balls. All right. Those are my K-dramas. Again, not too many. I'm actually going to add to it, though. I haven't bought a K-drama in a while, but I have some favorites that I saw online that I'm going to add later on this year. So I'll show those to you when I buy them. All right, our next part. I'm going to cover the 3 Chinese language TV series I have, and then, we'll see how many J-dramas I can get in the next video. I'll see you next time.